Hi, I'm Mitch Shoemaker, and today is day 70 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on doing at least 2 things every day I don't want to do, but I know would be good for me. So, yay for day 70 and only 30 days left to go. Woohoo! Getting closer to being done. Yay! Okay, so for today, I am making myself crazy because once again, my imaginary to-do list, well, it's not imaginary, my to-do list of things that I imagine that I can do in a day is way longer than what I can actually accomplish in a day. Plus, my ADHD loves to run rampant, and I am easily distracted by other things. And I am battling my internal, whatever, old habits, decisions, choices, life, things that I do. Because for me, when there's something that's overwhelming, when there's something that's tedious, when there's something that's just like, I can't believe I have to do this again, kind of a thing in my life, then I have a tendency to just avoid it because I'm bored with it, I'm done with it, I'm annoyed with it, I'm just like, I'm over it, you know? Like I hit that spot in my life where I'm just like, I'm done. That's it. I've had enough. I can't do this anymore. And the reality is I can do more and I can continue doing it. But I do that with jobs. I get to like 4 years, 5 years. I've never actually hit the 5-year mark at any one job. I've come close. 4.5 years, 4 3/4, never 5. I've always quit before 5 years. Don't have an explanation as to why I've done that, but I've just never made it to the 5-year mark at any one job for whatever reason. Even jobs I thought that I was going to keep for the rest of my life and retire doing, and then yeah, it doesn't last for 5 years. So I just have that like I'm done and I just can't do this anymore. So it's really hard for me to push past that. Or it's that part where I just, beat myself up over something that's really minute and simple that I should have known or could have done differently or wished I'd figured it out sooner, or just simple little frustrations like something that's interrupting what I want to be doing because now I have to go do something else that I don't want to have to be doing. And right now, all of that is tied into the book that I am trying to get to my publisher. So all of that, because one, it is tedious. I have to go back through and reread what I wrote. And in some cases, it's actually entertaining, and I like reading what I wrote. But I have to be interrupted because I actually have to pay attention to the words and the grammar and the spelling and the punctuation, things that I find to be tedious as of right now going through it. I'm like, I'm reading and it's all exciting. And then I've got these stupid little lines on the side or these little blue things that are popping up, but I have to find the right spot to click on it to just do accept insertion, delete insertion. And I was like, oh my gosh, seriously, if you just want to delete the spaces on the sides, delete the spaces. You didn't even have to put them in the track changes because I don't even care about spaces. And they're just spaces. Like, okay, I understand changing the words, yes, or punctuation, fine, but the spaces, like I have like the font, the formatting, like she could have just changed all of that stuff. I wouldn't have even noticed, like seriously would not have noticed. Maybe I would have noticed like the chapter font's a little bit different because it matches the other stuff. I liked it to be different, but whatever. That's just stuff I was playing around with when I was writing. It's not stuff that has to stay that way when it's published, which is fine. I'm like, I'm okay with that. But she couldn't just, yeah, anyway. But she tracked all the changes, which I know it's good. It's what I paid her to do. It's just annoying because I have to go and fix those. And then it's the annoying realization that I still have no idea what to do with the word power. Because to me, I think they should all be capitalized, and then some of them maybe should be lowercase. And then yesterday, I realized that there shouldn't be an S on the end of them. It should just be singular, not plural. So then today, I had to go back through and change that. And then I decided to change drawer to imitator, and I thought that I had gone back through the entire thing. Like, I reread it like twice already from the beginning. I haven't got all the way to the end yet, but from the beginning. I reread it twice just to make sure that I got all of the drawers and changed them to imitators. And then when I was going through and changing powers, I found drawers that were like in chapter 5. And I was like, I'm at chapter 15. So instead of going back and reading again, I just did the find replace button. I love that find replace thing. It works wonders. The powers, I couldn't do that because I had to read and figure out which ones were supposed to be plural and which ones are supposed to be singular. And I still don't know which ones are supposed to be capital and which ones are supposed to be lowercase. And I still kind of just want them to all be capitalized because it just doesn't make sense in my brain. Or I just want somebody else to go through and figure that out for me. Like my editing friend, when I was talking to her about it, she's like, she understood what I was saying. She's like, oh yeah, I can go through and fix that easy. And I'm like, do that for me, because I'm so at a loss as to what I'm doing with this. But she's not going to do that for me, which is fine. And just like I'm not going to do that, paid $3,000 for someone to launch my book for me, which she wants me to do, and that's fine too. So, sorry, my ear is itching. So anyway, I don't want to have to deal with all of that today. So then I did other things, not that I necessarily wanted to do them, but I did because the ideas are in my head, and I'm trying to learn that when the ideas are in my head, that maybe it's something that God wants me to do, and I should be doing it. So one of my ANWA friends from my writing group is, and ANWA stands for American Night Writers Association, so it's ANWA, anyway, one of my friends, she does this poetry thing for the month of April because April is apparently National Poetry Month. So she has a different poem for a different style of poem for every day of the month. And so I didn't do it the first day or two, and then I went through and did like 2 or 3 days in one. And then I was doing them, and I didn't do them all weekend, like I didn't do anything else all weekend. So for whatever crazy reason in my brain, I decided to actually not only just do the poems that I hadn't done, but to actually create a Word document. So I had to go back through and find all the poems that I did, that I posted on the Facebook page, and put them in a Word document so that I could keep track of all of the days and have copies of all of my poems. And so, of course, this is a time-consuming thing, and it's taking up all the time that I have to work on going through my book tonight. And then I'm like, last night, it worked really well when I did it, where I did a chapter, and I did a video, and I did a chapter, and I did a video. And I was like, why is that not working tonight? Like, I'm just not even motivated to do that tonight because I just want to get through my book. Because I was like, there's only 8 chapters left, and there's only 33 pages. And I've only done 3 chapters, and I don't know how many pages I have left because I haven't been paying attention to the pages. And now I'm sucked into my book, and I know that I only have 5 chapters to go. But it's 8:30 at night, and I know I need to turn everything off at 9 o'clock so I can write in my journal and brush my teeth and be in bed by 10 so that I can get up at pretend to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. My alarm's currently set for 5:20 because I'm still struggling to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning so that I can exercise. But I know I need to get up and exercise because my ankle is swelling and because my blood pressure is higher than I want it to be today. Because again, I did not want to ask my coworker to check my blood pressure, but I did ask her to check my blood pressure because I know I needed to. And so I did. She checked my blood pressure, and it was not high, but it was higher. It was 138/90 instead of 132/82, which it was last week. But last week I exercised, and last week I was drinking water, and this week I'm a little bit more dehydrated, and I didn't exercise. So I was like, this is why I have to get up in the mornings and exercise, because it helps to lower my blood pressure. And so I need to do it in order to keep my blood pressure lower. And if I can do it consistently enough, I might be able to get off the medications, or at least reduce the medications. But then I stress because of all the stuff that I have going on, and I don't need to stress. I need to breathe. I need to remember that God is in control, God is in charge, and that my publisher said I could just take my time in working on my book. And I'm just like, I don't want to take my time. I know I want it to be the best version possible, but I've already just wasted weeks of just not even working on it. Because if I'd worked on it, even just 2 chapters, 1 or 2 chapters a day since she gave it back to me, it would already be done because I've had it for 3 weeks and there's only 22 chapters. So it would be done. There would be no excuse for her to not have my book back already. But I just spent several days not even working on it. So that's my frustration right now, is I did not work on it. And so now I'm trying to get myself to work on it. And I am working on it. And that's a fantastic thing. It's just taking longer than I want it to. It's a longer process. And then I just get frustrated. and I want to just quit when I get frustrated, and I know that's not the right answer, so I'm having to push myself through that, because every time I find something like powers or imitators, drawers didn't get it changed to whatever it's supposed to be, I have to go back through the whole document to fix it. And not that it takes that long, it's not even that hard to do, it's just frustrating to me that I have to go back and do it again. And this is part of the reason why it's taken me 5 years to get this book done, because I have to go back through it again. I have to rewrite it again. I have to change it again. And that's part of the reason I haven't finished The Fall of Espanglande yet, is the same thing, because it's fun to write it the first time. It's fun to create it, to have like the new ideas and to try to type it up as fast as I can think of it. And it's kind of fun to go back through the second time and read it again and be like, oh, I did this and this is really cool and this is really cool and I can fix this and I can fix that. But it's more fun to go back through with somebody else's comments, so I can kind of like because it gives me something to gauge it off of, to be like, okay, this is what I need to do to fix, this is what I need to do, this. But this is not a whole lot of comments that I have, because this book is pretty much, it's just to the editing point where it's not a ton of revisions, it's not a ton of rewriting. It's simple things like, okay, we don't like drawer because it's too close to drawer and it's spelled the same way as drawer and people get confused, so find a different word for it. Or, king should be capitalized here, it should be lowercase here, and I have no idea what the difference is, so I'm totally screwed. Power should be capitalized here, where should it be lowercase? They don't know because they don't know how I'm using it, and I don't know because it's the same thing as kings. I have no idea which is which, although I know one is supposed to be one way and one is supposed to be another way. So, it's tedious things like that. It's spacing, it's formatting. I'm like, this is what the editor is for. So I don't have to do these things because I find them to be tedious and annoying, and that's kind of where I'm at. I am making some minor changes, changing a few paragraphs or a few sentences here or there, just because I'm trying to, soften up the character a little bit, or just because as I'm rereading it, I think, oh, this would work better, or this kind of helps to bring across this point. This kind of helps the character to grow a little bit, to make a little bit of a change. So I'm doing a few of those little things just because I know she's kind of a whiny, annoying 11-year-old orphan. So, which, some people like, some people can relate to, and some people are like, hey, that's a bit much. And I was like, and in spite of the fact you said it's a bit much, you still want to publish my book. And in spite of the fact you think it's a bit much, people still read it all the way through and couldn't wait to see the end. So I was like, yeah, I don't think she's as annoying as people say that she is, but she is kind of a little bit annoying, but she hasn't really got on my nerves. I've just noticed that there's places I can kind of put more questions in her thoughts and her internal comments and be like, hey, what about this? Or help her to kind of start to change or shift a little bit more, and not focus so much on the past. But it's hard because I know I've spent most of my life focused on the past and how it could be different or should be different and how I just want to go back and fix it. And I know tons of people that do that. So it comes out in my character because it's part of me, just comes out in my writing. It's just how it works. But I've grown quite a bit since I started this book, emotionally, not physically. Physically, I'm trying to shrink because I weigh way too much. But it's just a process. So, but again, it's still that tedious process. It's still, I don't mind the little random additional things, but sometimes I do if it means that I have to create something and I'm tired and I just want to get through it. And I'm kind of to the point where I'm tired and I just want to get through it, but I'm also excited. So it's hard for me to do this. And I don't know if I'm explaining that right, how hard it is, but I'm excited and I don't want to go to bed tonight because I want to stay up and finish it because I don't want to have to deal with it tomorrow. So it's kind of where my ADHD is like, let's just hyper focus and do this. But then it's also where it becomes detrimental to my health because I will stay up until 11 o'clock tonight finishing my book. I am not going to let myself stay up until 11 o'clock tonight to finish my book, which is frustrating because tomorrow is my writing group, which means I will not have time to work on my book tomorrow because, well, I might be able to work on it for a little bit, but only like 1, maybe 2 chapters. And the rest of it will just have to wait until Thursday, which I do not like. But at least it has like a deadline on like Thursday, and it has to be done Thursday because Friday I have to file my taxes because taxes are due this weekend and I have 3 years worth of taxes that I have to do this weekend, and I cannot be working on my book and I cannot let my book go another week without getting it submitted to my publisher. And that is not her deadline, that is mine, because I want to get my book published this year. I do not want anything standing in the way of that. I want to follow through on my goal of doing this. And so I have to just do it, even though I don't want to. That's the hardest, randomest thing for me, because it's like I don't want to and I want to all at the same time. It's like that internal back and forth thing, yin and yang thing. I don't know, heads, tails, however you want to put it. It's that internal conflict of mine where I want to do it because I'm so close and I want to finish my goal. I want to finish my project. I want to achieve it. I want to do this. But yeah, at the same time, it's scary because I'm putting myself out there. I'm setting myself up to succeed. I'm setting myself up for something different, to follow through on my dreams. And I have no idea what the outcome is, and I have no control over the outcome. And although I've gotten, for the most part, a lot of positive feedback, and even the suggestions for changes and things like that haven't been like harsh or cruel or whatever. It's been very doable. I have learned quite a lot doing this book, and I know that I have lots more to learn doing my other books. But it also means now that I finished this one, it means I have to work on the next ones. And it doesn't mean I have to, but that's like kind of where my brain goes. I'm like, okay, because now I got one out and it's a series. So now I get to do the next one and the next one. And that's the idea, is to just be able to keep doing that and to keep creating. And it's fantastic. But I also remember how tedious it is of the process, and that it's taken me 5 years to get one book out. And I don't want it to take 5 years to get the next book out. But I'm hoping, by convincing myself to do this week and showing myself and those that are watching these videos that I can do this and that I can submit it, and that when I get it back in 2 weeks, hopefully in 2 weeks, that it will only take me 2 weeks to go through it again, because I have to go through it again at least 2 more times. At least 2 more times. Oh, if I don't pull my hair out in the process, because again, it's tedious to me, and I'm to the point where I'm done with my book. Like, I'm done with my jobs, or I'm done with other things in my life, and I'm like, nope, I'm done. And even though the project isn't finished, I'm just finished doing it. And now I'm to a place in my life where I want to go back and finish all of my unfinished projects. And maybe I can't finish all of my unfinished projects, but I do have some unfinished projects, and I do have some unfinished things that I can go back and do, like my taxes and like some blankets and things that I was crocheting, and some other books that I started writing that I haven't finished. And I just feel like doing that is going to help me to feel a little bit more whole and fulfilled and accomplished in my life, and make me actually start to see that I can do things, that I am capable of things, that I can have more in my life, that I can do more in my life. And maybe it will help me to stop standing in my way and being the one person that's keeping myself from succeeding, the one person that's keeping myself from finishing, because there isn't someone else or something else. It's just me. It's my fear of succeeding. It's my fear of rejection. It's my fear of what other people are going to think, of being judged. It's my perfectionism that it has to be perfect before the world can see it, and it will never be perfect. I don't know, it's just so used to letting myself down and not following through on things. It's also just ADHD, and it just feeling overwhelmed by the whole process, or it's just so tedious and time consuming, and it's hard when you're right in the middle of it or right towards the end. It's like, I'm so close, but I just feel like I just can't cross that gap, cross that bridge. And right now it's just really frustrating to me, because I am literally 5 chapters away from finishing, 5 chapters away from being able to send it to my publisher. 5 chapters. And I will probably stay up and do one more chapter, so I only have 4 left, but I can only do 1 or 2 tomorrow. And then I'll still have to do 2 on Thursday, because like I said, I have my writing group tomorrow. And by the time I'm done with my writing group, it will be time to come home and go to bed. And I need to get myself to consistently go to bed and not let myself stay up all night. So it's very hard for me to control my ADHD. let's just say it that way, because I do have those moments where I get hyper focused on something, and right now I want to be hyper focused on my book, like so bad. I just want to stay up and finish it. I'm in the zone and I'm willing to do it, and I'm so afraid that if I stop when I'm in the zone, because I've done this before, I'm in the zone and then life gets in the way, I stop, I get distracted, and then I don't go back to it for months or weeks or years, and it just sits there. And I don't want that to happen, especially I don't want to lose this opportunity to have my book published. I hope that I haven't ruined it, and my brain is the only reason I'm pushing myself to do this right now, is because I'm so afraid I've ruined my opportunity to get my book published, and I don't want that to happen. So I don't think it has, because like I said, I just sent her my stuff and she said I'm like fastest person at getting all of the stuff to her. I'm like, yes, because I did all of that stuff instead of working on my book, because I didn't want to work on my book. And now that I'm in the zone of working on my book, I'm afraid if I stop, I won't do it, especially since I know I won't have time tomorrow, which means it has to wait until Thursday. And if I don't do it Thursday, I can't do it this weekend because I have other things, and my brain is just all these other reasons why it can never be finished. Like if I don't do it tonight, it can't be done, which is another messed up mentality that I have, thought process that I have. My biological dad was a lot like that. If you didn't do things the way that he wanted, or you didn't do it right the first time, that was it. You're done. You don't get a second chance. You don't get another try. It's not happening. Or you're in the middle of doing something and you're not doing it right. You're not doing it his way. He just shoved me out of the way all the time. Or it's like, okay, you're not acting the way that I want in public for something. I'm taking you away. Or somebody else isn't going to do what I want them to do, then you get to suffer. Like he was always that way. It was just an all or nothing thing. And it was, if you didn't do it right, then you just don't get it. And so to me, I've learned that mentality, and I'm trying to unlearn that, where if I don't finish it now, then I don't get to do it. If I don't do it in the right time frame, then it's over. It's done. I can't do it. So it's like that disappointment that comes when I don't meet my own deadlines or other people's deadlines, because then I feel like I don't get to finish it, because that's what I grew up with. That's what I was taught, not verbally taught, just, by watching, just by what happened in my life. It's like, oh, you didn't do this fast enough. Sorry, it gets taken away. Or, sorry, you didn't do it right. Let me just shove you out of the way and I'm going to take over. And now you don't get to learn how to do it. Or you didn't speak up soon enough. It's too late. You missed your chance. That's it. There's no more. And I know that's not true in life. I know that there's tons of second chances. There's multiple opportunities, and you can't really do anything right the first time you're learning how to do it. It takes multiple times to get it right in the process of learning, and it's not a one and done kind of a thing. But my brain still has that mentality because that's how I was treated. That was the example that I grew up with. That's what happened to me on multiple occasions. So I often do that to myself, like I've missed the opportunity. And right now I'm battling that thought where I've missed the opportunity to get my book published because it's taken me 3 weeks to go through it. And I've missed the opportunity because I'm trying not to let myself stay up until midnight to finish my book tonight. I don't know that it would take until midnight, but if it takes me another 3 hours, or it won't take 3 hours, but if it takes me another hour to 2 hours to do it, it'll be 10 o'clock at night. And by the time I write in my journal and go to bed, it'll be 11 or midnight, depending on how long it takes to get through my book. And so I need to not do that. But that's really hard for me to not do that. It's really hard for me to say, I can't finish this tonight, but I can finish it on Thursday instead, when I'm so close that I'm in the zone, because there is that fear in the back of my mind that if I stop tonight, I won't go back and finish it. And that's part of the reason I haven't got through it at this point, because I'm like, I just didn't pick it up and do it, or I stopped in the middle of what I was doing. And it's hard for me to pick that up again. I think part of that's an ADHD thing, and part of that's just like I said, the example and the training I got growing up. But I know it's an ADHD thing. It's like if I'm in the zone and I'm doing it, then I'm hyper focused on it, and this is what I'm going to do. And then when it gets interrupted, and then I go off to do something else, and I come back, that focus is gone and that interest is gone. Like it no longer holds the interest because I got to a boring point in what I was doing, or because I got distracted by something else, and then it's lost its interest, it's lost its pull, and then I am no longer interested. And even though I'm interested in finishing it, the motivation is gone, and it's a struggle to find it again. And usually once I get started and I get doing it, I can get back into that because I enjoy doing it and I have fun with it. But it's getting myself past that hump to doing it, and then it's trying to not get hyper focused the point where I don't get anything else done, which is why I said yesterday was awesome, because every chapter I would pause and I would do a video, and then I would go back and then I would do a video and I would go back, and it was like this back and forth, and it was kind of a fun little game. And I thought I could do that tonight, and my brain was like, nope, that's not happening. Because I was just afraid if I kept doing that with my book, I wouldn't get through it. And then I focused on other things like doing poems and making my videos, and still not getting through my book, and kind of frustrated because back in my mind wondering if I could have got through those 5 chapters if I'd hadn't done the poems. And maybe I could have, and maybe I still couldn't. Maybe I would still not be finished tonight. I don't know the answer to that. So, because I mean, I had 8 chapters tonight. I don't think there was any way I was going to get through all 8 of them anyway, but my brain thinks that I'm Wonder Woman and I can do that. And I know that I'm tired and I could just go to sleep without doing any of it. So I'm grateful that I got myself at least started and doing it. I'm just hoping that I can finish it on Thursday if I can't do it tomorrow, so that I can finally get it turned in and submitted and just be like, okay, I can breathe. And hopefully I still have the opportunity to have this person publish my book, and it doesn't get like lost or thrown out or whatever, and it can still, the process can still go forward. And I'm sure that it can, but again, it's that negative voice in the back of my head. It's that fear that I didn't do it in a certain amount of time, or other people have given up on me, or I've given up on myself, and having to push past that. And that's not an easy thing to do, and it's not something that I like to do. So that's just been a hard thing for me to do today. And so that's where my focus is on my video right now, because I'm so focused on my book, which is where my brain wants to be right now, not on my video. So this is me forcing myself to let go of the book, to do the video, and to get ready for bed. And my brain is still like, but I'm so close to the book. It wants to stay up until midnight to finish it. And that would be a terrible thing for me to do, but I might do it. I'll let you know tomorrow on that one, because seriously, this is a battle for me. It really is a battle for me. But also kind of a follow-up from yesterday. I was at work today, and I did talk to my coworker, and she did send me an email with some suggestions for my friend, and she did have some flyers or something I forgot to get from her today, so I can get tomorrow. So that was just kind of a nice follow-up. So I did something I didn't want to do, and then she was nice about it, and she responded to me, and we had a conversation. And so I'm grateful for that. I still haven't shared that with my Brazilian friend. I need to give her that information, but I should probably get the flyers and stuff first. So that is where I'm at with that. And I'm just going to try to breathe now for my video, and forgive me for my long, crazy explanations. Like I said, a lot of internal battles today to overcome, thought processes and things that I grew up with, and ideas that are false ideas that I still have to battle and overcome to do things, and things that seem very simple and should be easy to do just seem insurmountable sometimes to me. And it's hard, and stopping the hyper focus is something I'm not very good at, and right now I'm like wanting to do that. So this is again that battle for me. And again, it will be a battle to get started, because once I stop and I get myself away from it, then I have to coerce myself, convince myself to get back into it again. So anyway, that's where I'm at for today. And I thank you for listening to me and for letting me ramble. And I apologize I have not done my weekly video, and I will probably not do it tonight because it's already really late. It may not get done until Thursday, or it may just get combined with this week and next week, because I just don't know what I'm going to do it right now. So anyway, that's all I have for today. So if you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they'll like it too. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude, and maybe find 1 or 2 things to do today that you don't want to do, but you know would be good for you.